Well, let's get into the world of cryptocurrencies with Sarah Kunst now. She's founder and partner at Cleo Capital. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we've seen a fair bit of nail biting over this past year for some of the biggest and most well-known cryptocurrencies. Walk us through their performance this year and what's been behind it.
You know, we've seen a wild year in crypto. In the US, we've seen Bitcoin go below, $30,000, and we've also seen it be above 64,000. And so, those kinds of swings right now, it's sort of sitting in the middle around, in the mid 40s, mid $40,000 per coin. And, it feels like it's been driven by everything from, Amazon and Apple making crypto hires and job listings to, people like Jack Dorsey, doing roundtables with Elon Musk to talk about crypto, companies like Tesla bringing Bitcoin onto their balance sheet, companies like Square doing the same. It feels like Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, have been in every conversation from climate change to going to outer space.
And we've certainly seen that sometimes there can be a bit of a PR issue when it comes to crypto. We saw Poly Network, for example, a protocol for swapping cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, was hacked Tuesday, and that resulted in a loss of $611 million to users. Obviously, the ransomware attackers also made news this year for their hacks and asked for Bitcoin as payment. From an optics standpoint, how much harder did these instances make the widespread use and acceptance of cryptocurrencies?
I think that there will always be hacks, right? The banks are robbed every day, like in person, right? And most of us still trust banks to use for our money. If you have a $20 bill in your hand, someone could run by and steal it. So, I think what's important is that increasingly the very large exchanges are not seeing these hacks. And yes, ransomware, sometimes uses Bitcoin. But before that, people would use cash for ransom when they kidnapped people. And so, I think that the reality is that less traceable or Bitcoin certainly has a reputation as being less traceable, even though we're seeing in many of the ransomware attacks that the money actually, even if exchanged through, dozens of wallets, is recovered. And so I think that some of that has actually been good for Bitcoin. And the same with the questions around environmental sustainability that, have largely started to be answered by people who are saying, hey, look, here are new and different protocols that make Bitcoin mining more sustainable. So, I think that being under this scrutiny is overall a good thing for the industry, because it means that there have to be some real answers there. There has to be real security, to your point, for people to feel comfortable to continue to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Now, despite obviously some of the PR antics that we're seeing, a lot of countries and central banks still honing in, though, on cryptocurrencies. What's the outlook for the regulation of some of these decentralized currencies?
That is a $1 trillion question right now. I think right now in the U.S., there's language moving through with the infrastructure bill that just passed the Senate. With no amendment, that a lot of people in crypto are not happy about, because it really boosts the sort of burden of compliance and reporting, even if you're not an exchange. So even if you're not helping people buy or sell crypto, if you are a crypto miner or another site, you might have to collect information on people that is not typical, given your actual business. And so, there are a lot of questions right now in the U.S. There are questions, really all over the world about what will governments, what will central banks do about both, large cryptocurrencies that exist outside of countries, as well as a lot of countries are even looking at starting their own cryptocurrencies.
Now, obviously, a lot of people are used to hearing some of these terms used interchangeably. So remind our audience about the key distinctions between some of these decentralized currencies like Bitcoin and some of these government-backed digital currencies.
Yeah, I mean, the digital currencies, right, are not dissimilar from, a dollar that the U.S. government would circulate, right? They print it, they distribute it. You are, allowed to use it as legal tender, but at the end of the day, it comes to you from the government. And so, they ultimately maintain control over the supply and have some say in its value. With decentralized, cryptocurrency, that isn't the case. And so, it is sort of not tied to any one country, and there's not really any one government that gets to decide how much or how little of it exists, and it also is often, you know, a little bit riskier. You know, one very promising feeling around, you know, what could come out of some of the government stable coins is that you know, they might be a lot less volatile and a lot safer to hold.
All right, well, thank you. It's been great having you on for your insights. Sarah Kunst there, founder and general partner at Cleo Capital.